Okay, we'll get this meeting called to order. My name is Christy Merritt and I am new to this committee. Last meeting was my first time here. And then I got voted in as co-chair and Cam is not here tonight. So, this is kind of trial by fire for me. I'm gonna need a little grace tonight. I've never run a meeting like this. But I did watch a couple of YouTube videos on Robert's rules, so it should be good to go. So just give me a little grace tonight, okay? First thing I guess is roll call.
Okay, Christopher Alton. Perfect, I hear you. Okay. Joyce Brown.
Here.
Ray Dawson,
Here.
James Harrison,
Here.
Teresa King. Sharice Martin. Here. Johnny Mayfield,
Here.
Christy Merritt,
Here.
Mark Yella,
Here.
and Marie is excused, and Ken Whitco has resigned. Tristan.
Here.
Russo. Jeff Allwine. Patrick Smith in the back there, okay. And Doug Russell. Michael Dobbs.
Here.
And no one from involved, so. And youth council, I'm in Beharan. Lucia Bell. Ivan Cortez.
Here.
Leona Bigosi. James Lipino.
Here.
Marius Raymond. Melissa Vera is excused. Vera Rubio. Amelia Zepeda. Thank you.
Okay, I guess our first order of business is to approve October's meetings minutes. So can I get a motion to approve?
Move the minutes be accepted as presented.
Second.
On the question, there's a couple of corrections under members of the advice committee present. My name's spelled wrong.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I before you except after C and P and P.
Okay, I will fix that
Yeah.
first.
Under approved the minutes, it's also spelled wrong.
Can you spell it for me one more time? P-I-E?
Yes, P-E-I.
Okay, thank you. I apologize.
Okay, so. With those amendments. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes have been approved. And our next order of business is public comment. Do we have anybody here from the public that would wish to speak? Let's see, let me go. Sure. Okay, moving right along, right? Next, we have our guest speaker from Western States Hospital. We'll have a presentation from Linda Silva. Dave Chipchase also presenting.
You all see me over the podium.
I'll share that. Okay.
Is it good? Yeah. I don't know if you do that, but you can- Just a minute.
Oh, I think that's gonna be my friend today. Okay, so. Ready for the next one?
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Right, okay. Good evening, I'm Linda Silva. I'm the Deputy CEO for the Gage Center of Excellence at Western State Hospital. Our CEO, Mark Thompson, was not able to be here in attendance this evening and has asked me to step in. I'm also here with my amazing colleague and quality manager, Dave Chipchase. So we're going to start by sharing a little bit of the history of Western State Hospital with you, talk about some of the notification process and one of the topics that we were asked to discuss with you. And then we're going to move into some of the really cool design features of the new hospital under construction current. We'll go ahead and get started. Next slide, please. So many of you may be a little familiar with the history of the hospital, but some of you may not. So I wanted to take an opportunity to share some of that with you. As you can see up here, we have a site plan from 1942. Western State Hospital is over 150 years old, which is incredible to me. And they began providing essential psychiatric care in 1871. The facility sits on the historic site of Fort Steilacoom, which was a military base post from 1849 to 1868. As you can see here, this was the hospital back in the day. It's beautiful and incredible. The Washington Territory purchased the fort to establish a hospital for mental illness. It opened in 1871 and it treated 15 male patients and 6 female patients. It was called the Insane Asylum of Washington Territory. Following Washington's statehood, it was renamed Western Washington Hospital for the Insane. And then again in 1915, renamed finally Western State Hospital. It was then listed on the National Registry of Historic Places and then the Washington Heritage Register as the Fort Steilacoom Historic District in November of 1977. And then we'll turn to Western State Hospital as it is today. I don't know if you can see, but quite a large area of the hospital. Western State Hospital is comprised of 2 operational centers. There's the Gage Center of Forensic Excellence, as well as the Civil Center of Forensic Excellence. We serve approximately 685 patients over various types of patient population. At the Gage Center, we provide competency restoration for our patients, for those that have committed a crime. Part of that main goal is to treat patients to help them be able to be competent, to understand and participate in their court proceedings. We also treat not guilty by reason of insanity patient populations. You may hear that referred to as NGRI. At the hospital, I think we just speak in acronyms all day. So I will try to not do that, or at least if I do, let me know what that acronym stands for. The Civil Center serves those who are deemed dangerous to themselves or others. Now I want to move into one of the topics that we were asked to speak about tonight, and that's about community notifications. So how are members of the community made aware when a patient has left the hospital that is not authorized? First, know that every patient that is at Western State Hospital is court ordered to be there. However, some patients do have a different level of privileging and are allowed to have either on grounds or off grounds outings. Some are staff escorted and some are not, depending on the patient population. When civil patients with privileges don't come back to the hospital at their designated return time, it's considered an unauthorized leave, or you'll hear it referred to as a UL. When forensic patients leave who don't have privileges, it's considered to be an escape. Thanks. So diving in a little bit more to the notification process. So a patient's considered either to have escaped or on unauthorized leave immediately the moment that it's noticed that the patient is not there. And this, at that point, triggers a whole myriad of activity. Excuse me. So that trigger begins with immediate notification. There's internal notifications, law enforcement notifications, legal notifications. It really just depends on the type and commitment status of that patient. So for an unauthorized leave, this really applies to civilly committed patients under the Revised Code of Washington 71.05, or voluntary patients who leave a supervised setting or fail to return from an authorized leave or ground privileges at their prescribed time. For an escape, that applies to the forensic patients. So they are under Revised Code of Washington 10.77. These are patients, or they can be a civil patient that is on a jail hold. These are treated as escapes and immediately reported to 911. There's no grace period. And again, these procedures begin immediately upon notification or discovery of the absence of that patient. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more in depth about that notification process and what is happening. So there are multiple areas within the hospital, multiple teams working on notifications simultaneously. So immediately we have a control center at the hospital and they're immediately notified, and they're our main hub for getting those information processes started and notifications out. We're going to provide them with the patient name, a description of the patient, what they were wearing, where they were last seen, the location, the time, the direction that they were heading, any information that we can get over to that control center so they can provide that in the notifications. They will also notify, of course, the ward that that patient is residing on. They're going to notify our security team. We have a dedicated security team for both the civil center as well as the gate center. They'll make a notification overhead to that affected area. They're also going to notify South Sound 911. They'll notify our administrator on duty. Key leadership get notified via email, text message. And then we will also make photocopies of the patient and get that out as well to local law enforcement. So Lakewood Police Department, Steilacoom Police Department, and the Pierce County Sheriff are immediately notified. But also notifications and checks to the Department of Corrections, as well as if there's any other patient notification for that patient status, those procedures also get triggered to begin. And of course, our nursing staff have their own protocols for within the hospital as well. So there are several groups working in tandem to get these notifications out and those internal processes. Next slide, please. So turning to some of the external notifications, the chief of police and the county sheriff of the county or city of the arrest for residence and release are also notified. Well, of course, we immediately will still, regardless of the county or area, we still notify Steilacoom, we still notify the Lakewood Police Department, as well as the Pierce County Sheriff, because that's the immediate area. Notifications continue. We'll reach out to Steilacoom High School, Pierce County College, some of the surrounding areas for notification for them as well. Additionally, we'll look to see, depending on the patient, they may have victim witness notifications that go out as well. And so we'll work through our community notifications office and, excuse me, the Department of Social and Health Services Victim Witness Notification Program Administrator. Victims are that are enrolled in the program are notified of an unauthorized leave, an escape, discharge or release of a patient, as well as the return and capture of the patient. So we will continue, once all of those notifications are going, our security teams are also out there searching, scanning the area and whatnot, doing everything that they can to get that patient back or to locate the patient and get them back to the hospital. Meanwhile, we continue to work with law enforcement throughout that same process. Now turning to the future of the new hospital. Through its 150 years, the hospital has undergone some substantial physical and operational changes. Patient populations are determined the way it procures food, which at one time was through farming. We no longer do that. But many changes in many ways that we've applied different therapies and whatnot, in different ways, privileging systems for the patients have been determined. So the only change or the only constant throughout has been change. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Dave Chipchase to talk to you about the new awesome hospital.
All right, thank you very much, Linda. And thank you all for inviting us, give us the opportunity to share with you. You go to the next slide. Next slide. All right, so quick little history. Why are we building a new hospital? Well, we've been around for a long time, 150 years. And Governor Inslee, a few years back said, you know, the staff is doing a great job. The patients, they need to move into the 21st century. We have a facility that's basically in the 19th century. So we were very fortunate that Governor Inslee made it possible by allowing the funds to allow us to build a new hospital. And thankfully, Governor Ferguson has supported that and we're moving forward with that. So it's truly a great opportunity for the community, everyone that works there, and for the patients to modernize mental health. Next slide. All right. So as we move into a new modern therapeutic hospital and a way of how we're going to treat mental health, we're trying to take more than just the facility, also the staff, how they had a whole physical being of how we're going to move into providing this mental health. So you'll see, and I have some photos of here of how the hospital is looking much more modern and maybe like houses that we would live in. So instead of institutionalized and or prison, it'll allow them to maybe heal a little bit better. So it's the psychophysical, and next slide, talking about a little bit of the psychosocial. It's the mindset of both patients and staff. So a safe, comfortable environment to allow them to heal. Next slide. This is just an illustration of what the hospital is going to look like if you were a drone or a helicopter flying over. What I want to show right there in the middle, those are the courtyards, and I'm going to point here so people might, in these areas, that's the courtyard. And why I want to highlight that is we're providing security for our patients by having buildings around them. Instead of having fencing around it like we do in many of the current circumstances, it's a building, it's a 4-story building. So when they're in exercising, they're doing outdoor stuff, they're surrounded on all sides by a building. So that was really important to us to design a facility that is nice, doesn't look institutionalized, but is very safe for the community. And you also see solar panels, very important that we were net zero capable, and we're going to not be a drain on the electricity system of Lakewood. So next slide. This is just more of a drawing of kind of the same thing. Next slide. Can I get a time check, Melissa? Where are we at?
Halfway.
Halfway, okay. So when the architects, and a long time ago when they're kind of coming up with the design of the hospital, they went with this walk in the park. We want to have this experience, if we could, as much as possible, that patients would have a walk in the park as they go about their lives. So we're going to talk a little about that and see how we try to achieve that. Next slide. So the outside of the hospital, which all of us will see when we're driving on Stilcombe Boulevard there, it's inspired from Native American basket weaving. And I'll show you the next slide here what that looks like. But we took inspiration from Native America, which is some of the ground that we're on, to put that into the new hospital. So there we go. So that veil on the outside is supposed to kind of mimic a basket weave. It's inspired from a basket weave. Next slide. So we think it looks pretty awesome. It doesn't look like a prison. It doesn't look like a big opposing institutional building. It's something you would drive by. We're very close to the high school, which you guys are either in or going to be going to pretty soon. So it's not going to be an eyesore for when you drive by and look at it. Next slide. This is just a blow up of what it's gonna, how each of the wards are in each there. So the bottom floor is more administrative, a downtown area. The top 3 floors, the 4-story buildings, top 3 stories are all wards, they're all for patients. And then when they would either go to their therapy or they would go to the courtyards. Next slide. And here are just really some illustrations to let you know what it's gonna look like. So you can see this is the main entrance. That looks very modern, like a modern hospital would look. Next slide. I talked about a walk in the park. So the whole theory is we have their home, just like all of us, and then they have a neighborhood, and then they have a downtown area. Currently, in most institutions, they may not leave the ward for a long time until they either discharge or something happens. We wanted to give them that experience, just like all of us here. We had to come here, right? We had to get dressed, we had to leave our house. Time's up soon, so I'm gonna hurry up. So, okay, so this downtown area is what you would have all of us in downtown. You have a cafe. The next slide will show there's an exercise room, there's a gym, and there's yoga. So we wanted that experience, instead of just doing it on their ward, they would go someplace, they would leave, they would walk through a park, and they would go and go to therapy, they'd go to downtown, they go to the gym. They have this experience where they leave their home and get ready to go and do that. I think that's important for them. Next slide here shows the courtyards, and this is a better illustration, especially the one on the left. You can see that there's 4-story walls. So escapes, we believe, are going to be much more difficult to happen at this facility because they'd have to climb 4 stories, go across, and kind of go down 4 stories. So that was, how do we design this beautifully, but yet have all this nature there, but secure, so you wouldn't have to worry about a fencing. Next slide is the nursing station. It's a typical nursing station that we'll have. And as you can see, it looks very modern, but what maybe you don't really see, it's totally enclosed. It's safe for the staff, which makes it safe for the parents, but it also doesn't look, again, like an institution or a prison. And the next slide is a typical bedroom. We have 350 beds in this hospital, 14 wards. Every single bedroom is single occupancy. Some of the current rooms, hospitals, they have roommates and stuff, which can be a challenge when you're going through mental health issues. They have their own shower and their own bathroom. So we think that's setting them up in an environment where the healing process will be a little bit easier for them. And then finally, the last slide. The top shows the current view, just a photo of all the construction. If you guys have driven by, you've seen this. Actually, this photo is a couple weeks old and we've already put a roof on the top level, which is pretty amazing. And the bottom, that digital footprint right there, that shows all the building that's happened thus far since we've gone there. So you can see there's a lot to go into this, and we're really excited about the end product. We're going to be done in 2028 in April, May timeframe. Now we're going to be done. We're going to be done in 2028, and then we're going to be accepting new patients around the August, September timeframe. So again, I appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable, and we are open for questions.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming that your leadership team gets together to talk about possible safety issues. You know, they're at the hospital for the.
At the new hospital?
Well, yeah, so I'm just curious if this new design and architecture and that, if you think that those security issues you have today would go away with the implementation of the facility.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of our biggest design challenges, is try to do that. So if I could answer the question. So right now, when they pour out into a courtyard or whenever they're going to another activity, it's all enclosed within the building or inside the walls. So we've eliminated the need for fencing because there's no areas where it would require fencing, because it's all enclosed in these courtyards. So that was one of our main focus for doing that. And as far as safety as well, we've had some struggles with patient sharing rooms, you know, so now we've have 350 separate rooms, all individual. So we believe we made it safer that way. They're not having to share a bathroom or a shower with another person, which can be troublesome. They have their own. Of course, there's going to be safety issues that are going to happen in every hospital, and there might be some that we don't even know about yet. But we do have a plan when we move in. We're going to move in, you know, one ward of patients is our plan, and really see what the patients are going to find out that makes it not safe. And if we find something, we have a plan very quickly to pivot and fix that. So then we move in the next ward of patients. It'll be safer for all across all 14 wards. Thank you for your question.
I live right behind there.
Oh, it's great. You're our neighbor.
And usually when there's an escape or something, we don't get that message. My son works out. He usually texts us and let us know, but we don't get that in Oak Brook.
Okay.
We can hear it on the news, but there's no message. I didn't hear anything about getting that message out to the people around that area when there's an escape. And are they giving up the prison part and just becoming a hospital? Is that what they're doing?
Well, it's not a prison, it's a secure facility.
Secure
So,
facility.
yeah. But a lot of the stuff that all mental health secure facilities, they're built to a prison grade standard.
Right.
And we're still doing that, but we're trying to do it in a softer touch. And you brought up a great point. A lot of these patients, all of the patients, come from prison, right? And there's a lot of trauma. I'm sure if any one of us have ever been, I haven't been in prison, but I've been in prison. I know Melissa worked in prison. But if you had to live in a prison, there's a lot of trauma in that. You know, the cells, you know, it's very stark, it's very hard. So then when you move to a hospital, now, if that was me and I'm designated that I need some health care, mental health care, and I go to a hospital and it still looks like a prison, is my mind clicked on ready to accept that therapy? Well, the thought is not so much. The new modern way is, if the facility is looking like a place where you can heal, it's more like a hospital, but it's still secure, still has all that. But can we build it where it's secure, but it also looks very nice, like we believe this does? So then I'm ready to accept a therapist. If Melissa's my therapist and she's trying to get me to open up about something, maybe I'm more ready to do that because I don't feel like I'm in a prison. That's what we're striving for. So it's not a prison, nor is Gage, nor is Civil. However, we have a lot of prison-like securities in there for the safety of, well, the community.
And going back to the safety question, we will also still have a dedicated safety team, even with the safety security design. We still intend to have that dedicated safety security teams at that facility. And then Oak Brook,
Yeah.
I would love to connect to see how we can collaborate to get that type of notification out. Like, how would we get that out to Oak Brook community?
Yeah, the neighborhood actually, most of the people in Oak Brook have it.
Okay,
They just put a blast up in the neighborhood, ask everybody. It'll go around quickly in Oak Brook.
okay, that's great. So that's great feedback. I will definitely take that back and see what we can get
Okay.
set up.
Yeah, I have a question on the timeline. So once you know that you have somebody that apparently has escaped, what is the timeline? I understand the first thing you do is an internal process, or go through your internal procedures, then you notify Skellycom. So as a resident of Lakewood, how long is it before the city of Lakewood officers are then notified that there has been somebody that's not where they're supposed to be?
It's immediate.
Pardon?
It's immediate through our control center.
Okay, but it sounded like when you were saying before that you go through all the internal stuff, then you start notifying those.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry, that was,
It's
I-
all kind of together.
yeah, it's all in tandem. So we've got different teams that are working on the different types of notifications that are going out, but they're happening simultaneously. So yeah, those law enforcement, they're notified. Absolutely, especially with that pertinent information. Is that we want to get the information about the patient, description out, direction they're heading.
I have a follow-up on Julius's question is like when the fire department, they have a fire that they need to notify people, like we had a brush fire. They automatically, if you sign up, you get instant notification. I don't know why that couldn't work also.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
We use the code red.
What is it?
Code red emergency management. We have emergency management coalition.
Okay,
I know our Nathan Serena works with your folks, emergency management. You could talk to them and they could explain the notification system. Probably be part of it.
that would be great. Thank you. Yeah.
James, do you have a question?
So where is this being built, on the north or? on the-
It's a great question. It's being built right across the street from Stillcomb High School. So it's on still the main property, but if you're driving, you know, Stillcomb High School, you're driving up, is it Centennial? I think it's Centennial. You turn left to go into the high school, you turn right, and that's right where it's gonna be.
There's that gas station there. It's kind of straight across.
We had to take down 12 buildings on the property to build these two buildings. So we're building a pretty large administrative building, close to 60,000 square foot administrative building, and then this 350 bed hospital. So we had to knock down quite a few buildings to have the space for this in a pretty large park.
Will it replace the existing wards?
It did replace a bunch of our old wards, South Hall. We knocked down South Hall and we haven't had that up for quite a while now, like 4 years now. But Civil and Gage, what she just briefed on, they are still remaining intact.
So those old buildings on the other side, those to the same way, they'll still be there or
Oh, those cottages? Yeah,
not a big stone building.
yeah, every building that you see up now is remaining
Okay.
until you give us some more money to monitor. I know you got it, Julius.
Yeah, okay, just a little more clarification. Did you say there will still be patients that have committed crimes or not? I'm just still a little confused there.
For the new hospital, yes.
Okay,
Yes, they'll still be considered to receive treatment services.
okay, so then I guess my next question would be, when they are discharged, where do they get released? Are they all released just right out the front door, or do they go back to the county that sent them, or how does that work?
It really depends on the patient, but yes, some go back to the county, some go to, step down facilities. It's individualized, but yes, it's
Okay,
that could.
so it's not all funneled into Lakewood.
No,
Okay,
No.
some go back to the family. There's always a plan. There's social work at a discharge team that work on that. What doesn't happen is what you said, where they open the door and just kind of walk out. That never happens. There is a plan. They do go like Linda said, to a step down facility to the family.
Well, I think before a lot of them used to be released in the Lakewood area because there was a lot of mental health facilities on the outside here. That's what we were dealing with before. But I think the state now with building these little facilities, the idea was that they would go back to their home county for treatment. So at least that was my understanding.
That's exactly right.
Is this gonna happen? I know there's a lot of certification for loss in the old building because of the facilities and a lot of other stuff, but. So will this building then have to go through any type of special recertification before they can be moved into?
Not before they moved in, but we will go through certification to be certified. So, and that certification process takes quite a while. It's not, you can't get a certification, build the building and say, okay, come certify it. Because the certification is more than just the building. It's also how Linda runs the facility and how the staff are operating. So there's a lot more to it than just, it's built to the proper code, which it is. We are gonna build it to the proper code, thanks to Mr. Dobbs over here, because we have to pass the fire marshal part of it. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to do that. So that piece, we're investing a lot of time and effort. But on the other end, the staff and how they provide treatment, the procedures and how we care for them, that has to be certified as well. So for Senator CMS come out and do that, they have to see a working hospital to be able to do that certification. So it'll be at least a year of us fully operational before we get everything running really the way that we want, we feel comfortable in it. Before Linda raises her hand and said, I want to lead the charge to get joint commission certified and or CMS certification, which is what you were referencing.
But of course, there also is fire codes and different things that will have to be in place before we are able to operate.
I think the gentleman over here has him first.
Is there a level of offender that, will be placed in this place, like, I don't know?
It's a forensic facility.
criminally insane people, something of that nature?
Like, again, it varies on the crime, but, you know, they're all gonna be court ordered, and so it's gonna be competency restoration.
So we're still running the game.
Absolutely.
And that's why we wanted to be so certain that it's a secure facility. Did you have it?
At some point, you're gonna have to, with a lot of money, a lot of time. At some point, you gotta either take a time out or say, we're done, and what parameters are you gonna assess to see if it was successful? Happy patients when they're discharged, or saving money in operation, or reduce service calls for folks that left without authorized absence? What kind of things might be measured to see?
So you're asking what success is for this hospital? Okay, well, I believe success is that we have a facility that can house 350 patients, mentally ill patients, and they can receive proper treatment without harm to staff and or other patients. That's what we're gonna strive for. Now, unfortunately, and I hope this isn't breaking news anymore. Mental health's not going away. It's a growing industry, unfortunately. So there's no timeout and saying, okay, well, we did it wrong, or this isn't working out. In these young people right here, if they choose this profession to go into it, they're gonna be briefing, your son or your grandson on another hospital that's being built, that's another 350 beds, maybe not in Lakewood, someplace else, because mental health is it's growing, it's unfortunate. And I wish I had a solution. Linda's a lot smarter than me. If you can figure it out, please. We need someone, gentlemen, if you can figure out a way to fix it, so mental health is not something that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I'd love to put us out of a job, but it's just not the reality. So success is providing treatment in a safe environment, so they can go back to the family, they can go back to the community.
But also from a quality assessment and performance improvement perspective, the focus will be on treatment and looking at measures of success with treatment and treatment services. So looking at the standards of care, are we meeting that? Are we in compliance with that? Looking at successful discharging, looking at the type of treatment that we're providing and the services and the therapies. And so we will absolutely have a quality improvement, very robust quality improvement program throughout that hospital as well.
When we were first briefed on this, I was a little disappointed that we basically had the same amount of beds as we had in the old facility, that it wasn't expanded. I understand money's money, but what you're saying is right on. If they doubled it, we had 700 beds in that, we probably still wouldn't be meeting the needs by 2030, probably.
Well, we are increasing the total bed capacity at Western State Hospital. So there's a couple things holding us back from filling beds higher than 687. Number one, it's the Lakewood master plan. They're only giving us authorization to fill 687 beds. So when this hospital is done, we will have upwards of the ability to go up to 1,190. So let's say 1,100 beds.
Oh, really?
Yes, because we're building 350 bed hospital. We only knocked down a small portion of wards. But we won't be allowed to go over 687 until the master plan approves us higher than that. And of course, there'll be the operational budget to do that as well, to be able to run those three facilities. So right now, our plan is to still operate the capacity of 687. We have a brand new hospital in 2028. There'll be better, a better facility. So we're counting on being safer and better treatment. but we'll still have the ability for these other beds in the future, like we know it's gonna grow.
Yeah, just a comment really. You were talking about the success of this. You mentioned safety.
Yep.
But you didn't mention public. You mentioned the staff and the patient. Now, I just believe that was just, you left it out accidentally, but it would, I guess, worry me if it's not included in that.
Well,
Because that's what we do. We're
yeah,
public
absolutely.
safety advisory committee, right? So our concern isn't what goes on inside the facility. That's your guys' deal. What we worry about is what comes outside of that, or
Sure.
patients that are able or whatever. Because there's a Fort Stone Park right there with the big children
Yeah.
playground that's visited by hundreds of people and
Yeah.
whatever.
And that used to be Western State Hospital ground, and we gave that to City of Lakewood, but
So
absolutely.
this is your opportunity to say, yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And then we can move on. No.
And you saw those courtyards that we have that are surrounded by the building, so we believe that's gonna reduce the ability for patients to escape.
Well, you know our concern.
Say again?
You know our concern.
Absolutely, and I think we're addressing them. Yes, sir.
So talking about public safety, you talked about unauthorized leave and escapes. Conceivably, escapes will be decreased through this new facility. How often do unauthorized leaves and escapes happen currently? What's your frequency for that?
I will say for the forensic center, for the competency restoration, we have not had any in recent into the past 3 to 5 years. Where we've seen is, what you've seen is unauthorized leaves in the civil center. And so I would say within the past year, there have been between 3 and 4. But it really just kind of depends on, we'll go a long period without, and then we'll have one, or then we'll have more, so.
And those unauthorized leaves from the other facility, how often are those folks recovered?
I would say over 90%. I don't have an exact number. I don't want to give you misinformation, but most of the time they are.
And you do some sort of a root cause corrective action process to
Yes,
address how that happened and prevent it from happening.
we absolutely do. We have many quality improvement, risk management processes in place, and that is one of the things that we actually do is look at the root cause and ways to mitigate that type of event from happening again.
Good, that's why you have your quality manager here, right?
To paint a picture, when there's an escape or unauthorized leave, Linda talked about that simultaneously, a lot of things happen. Hospital command center forms, and it's something very similar to this, and Melissa knows this very well because she's usually the commander of it, right? And it's all these people that are specialty in their areas, and they are brainstorming, and they are all working the phones, and they're working radios, and they're working with police and fire and whatever the emergency is. And we're very, sadly, we're pretty good at this because our old facility requires us to have this. We just had a sewage that required us to move patients out of a room. So they all form and they're all working simultaneously. It's quite nice, and we learned a lot of the training from the fire department in when they do their command posts and stuff. So we're doing all this, and after the incident is done, they immediately come up with lessons learned and how do we implement it. So your point is, we take it very seriously. We have a forum just like this, computers up, radios, all that stuff. When the emergency is resolved, whether there's a flooding or an escape patient or a building that separates and the roof is falling down, how do we fix this? What do we got to do? Throw money at it, time, training, whatever we do, and then we attack it pretty aggressively so that doesn't happen again. And as Linda was saying, Gage hasn't had any escapes because it's a little bit harder in facility, more harder facility, but they also attack it very aggressively so it doesn't happen for the safety.
Do you share those lessons learned with Eastern State Hospital as well and get feedback from them in their operations?
Well, our boss is right back there, Tony, so he absolutely helps us out with that. And you know, they had an active shooter, unfortunately, Eastern State Hospital, just, I don't know how many months ago, it wasn't that long ago. But there was lessons learned from the security aspect of what we have to do, and memos came down and some training, but like, what do we have to do? Because unfortunately, Eastern State Hospital lost a security guard. And it was no fault to them, you know, it wasn't like they did something wrong. But what can we do so that doesn't happen at Western State Hospital? So to your point, yes, we do share.
And the last last thing I had was, you mentioned you informed Lincoln PD, Silicon PD, and County Sheriff. It'd be good to inform West Pierce Fire as well.
We do.
So, so,
And just to your earlier question, I was just in a meeting last week where we do come together with all of the state hospital facilities, and we do share lessons learned and talk about some of the things that are happening and share what we've done to mitigate and share those lessons.
Thank
You're welcome.
Thank you all, appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Oh,
I feel safe.
okay. Our next,
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
next on the agenda, we have, Tress Clune here from the city council to give us an update. I guess really none of us that are in the room were there at the feedback. Were there? Okay. So maybe you can fill us in. Okay,
I'll let.
go ahead. Either way.
I don't have the notice I need, so. Well, council, thanks,
Thank you.
work that we pursued and work completed. And there was some chronic things that we had to meet down again that had to do with transportation, with safe. The neighborhood reorganization and neighborhood meetings, you know, since that reorganization take place, there's only a couple really happen regularly. One at town center, based interest, and so when they travel insurance takes place. There were suggestions, there were some natural things going on there. I know years ago, it slowed down in the winter, and some of the association was just suspended meetings for a while. So part of it's that, but there's sort of, I think there's a sort of general malaise, and I also think it was implied that they were hoping that we could cap that. What are our citizens thinking? They're not really making a big rush off of these neighborhood things. I live the other side, just on the south fence of the Mount Tahoma High School. And I've been on this committee forever, and the whole time we were kind of orphaned. Because we didn't raise a lot of complaints. We didn't have all the chaos of Oakbrook. And we didn't have all the chaos at town center. And then there was all the construction went on the other side of the freeway. But many people live out there, I know, don't think there's really an organization. But I think, a couple of council members seem to say it would really be nice to get that sentiment. I didn't speak up, I let Pam read you all, but as you've heard before, there's a challenge to go out there and find it. Now, when they got a nasty bleeding wound, we're gonna tell you about it. But when the wound could be prevented by talking to them, we get some kind of information, we digest it, and we forward recommendations. That's my opinion, and that was reinforced often over the years. You know, prevent it, it's like medicine, it's going to prevent it. Don't bring them in when you've got an arm hanging off the cart. But I think there's a real interest in tapping that. I don't know what the answer to that is. I've already tried to probe it a few times with this, you know, dressing a little bit official, and I know all that takes, I don't know, many of you probably here because you volunteer for a lot of stuff. So you got a lot of that stuff on your doorstep already to make it a hat for this, a jacket for that. Somehow you have to get credibility, and you have to find a population that will talk to you. But I know I move around in personal security mode for the last couple of years. And somebody starts walking up to me and they either want money or they want money. But whichever way we get it. But it was dominantly complimentary. And they also asked if there's places we thought we didn't have as much, let's call it city support. You know, I think when you do the tractors and trucks, there's as much support as we need. And often we glean some comments out of the population that attends that. The Summerfest is, I always thought that was probably the biggest place to find out what was going on. If somebody had an anxiousness about something. So while I was sitting there, I was thinking we need to support that maybe a little more. And be kind of swarming kindly around those tables and engage people. But I don't know, Tristan probably made better notes about what the council probably knew the read ahead when they were getting ready for us. It's too bad more of you weren't able to make it. It's always a learning experience to see that. And also, we look across the whole council, city appreciation, I mean, they really value the organization. And it has turned some nice outcomes over time. But I didn't went back on any specifically what I had jotted in the notes.
Sure, we didn't really have any specific actions for this council, but we did appreciate and encourage this council to be the engagement piece with the rest of Lakewood, right? So whether it's a tractor day or Summerfest or the farmers markets or the neighborhood meetings, it's a chance for folks within the community to hear what's going on, express their concerns, and use this council as a liaison to get to city council, make the changes happen. What you've done in the past has been well appreciated, and we understand it's a volunteer organization, so I definitely thank you for everything that you do. But I think that's the gist of the takeaways from that joint session.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have other comments though, just
Okay, great.
update. So, we're going through a lot of changes in the city, right? Our mayor and deputy mayor are retiring. They've got 2 more council meetings and then they're gone. So we're gonna have 2 new council members that start in January. We have a new communications manager and a new parks director starting. So it's a lot of change all at once in the city, so it takes time to sort of settle out. But if you need anything in the interim, always reach out to me and my fellow council members to answer any questions. And then upcoming events, we've got the holiday parade coming up on Saturday. It's gonna rain, but we still will get a good turnout. So I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, next, Michael Dobbs, Westfield.
Well, thank you. Nice to see some familiar faces and new faces. I'm the fire marshal for West Pierce Fire and Rescue, work with the city of Lakewood Community Development Department. So for us, one of the changes I hope people have seen, Jim Sharp, our fire chief's retiring next year. Ryan McGrady, he was assistant chief and has come up through ranks, was selected by the board of commissioners, so he'll be taking over sometime after the first of the year. Him and Chief Sharp are working on a transition plan right now. Really great guy, both of them are great gentlemen, and he'll do well. I look forward to seeing where he takes the department in the future. So that's our big change coming. Seems to be a season of change for both agencies. For us, our festivities coming up, we have Santa's at Station next week, Tuesday, the 9th, right over here at Station 21 on Fulton Boulevard, 5:30 to 7. So tell everybody, don't family, kids, have a good night. Can't make that one. We're also doing on Thursday, at Station 31 in University Place. Same time, 5:30. Santa Station both times. It's a really fun event. So if you're able to make it to one of those, we'll see out there.
What station number is the one you said?
Station 21's right here, 5,000 Stoughton Boulevard.
Okay,
And then Station 31 is in University Place on Crooks. Other than that, we're just sort of winding down the year, getting ready for next year and going through all that planning process. So with Chief McGrady's promotion, we'll be promoting somebody else into an assistant chief. He's currently our assistant chief of operations. So here, hopefully in another week or 2, we'll know who that person is. So always working to plan succession. So
we have a lot of changes in the city.
we do. Yes, sir.
So they finally ran out of shark twins to be chief.
So far, yeah, you never know. There's other sharks, but they're much younger. So yeah. For those that didn't know, Ken Sharp, which is Jim Sharp's brother, was the chief previously.
So I continue to take grandkids to places where West Pierce showed up in public. I got 10 of these buggers to get them. The youngest one now is 4, and then I got a 7 and 8-year-old. You guys, you gals are amazing. They always feel valued and individually acknowledged. And I will say because they behave really well, I'm a retired Army colonel. They behave so well that they get invited to some adventures that others don't. I don't know if that's bad, but I consider it a sign of their, being invited. But it's an amazing interface. That's part of the Peace Act thing. The police department here has always been something I admired. And they almost always perfectly reach out and make the young ones feel like, one, you're not bad, you're not wearing dark uniforms, you're the boogeyman or any of that stuff. And fire and police, I've always felt was a great, representation of the city.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, everybody gets into it for the same reason, certainly, and the kids are, shining light of the community, so it's a fun part of it.
Yeah, these young kids, these young people they're the ingredients of what's ahead.
Okay, next up, our youth council. So good to see you guys here again. You guys have any comments or anything you'd like to bring up? Oh. Good, okay, go ahead.
This Peace Act can be doing anything related to the holiday parade.
Don't think we do have a presence at the holiday parade. Do we do anything? No. Were you interested in doing a float?
You got a couple of days.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Youth council doing anything for Chris?
It's really fun. I mean, like, my husband and I usually do a float. You don't need to be like a committee to do it. You can just decide to do it, so. Fun. Okay, next, we'll just keep moving along here. Unfinished business. So truck and tractor day report. Cam mentioned to me that she wanted to thank Ivan for showing up that day. That was awesome. And, we're gonna try to work on, do you need any kind of letter for school hours or anything? For credit for that, or do you just fill out a log yourself? Oh, okay. I didn't think we had police here. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Let's back it up.
I have to stay in the back, we have the doors open.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you wanna pop in here and do you have any,
Sorry,
you wanna come back?
however you want to run it, but I just wanted to make sure you know I was here.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. So, yeah, why don't you come back since I just missed you by one here? Before we move on.
They want to get points, they want to get.
You wanna get points? Okay, we'll get a letter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you able now?
You want me now, or?
I want you now, yeah.
So for the Lakewood Police Department right now, we're down in crime in pretty much every area of crime. Our aggravated assaults, which we've had an issue with, are down about 20%. Our homicides, believe it or not, we're in the silver, and so far we've not had one homicide in the city so far this year. That's a first, that we can track as far back as what was formed. In every other area, we're down, burglaries down 41%. Overall, we're down 26%. Our stolen vehicles, which have been a problem, we're down 54%. And our robberies were down, almost 40%. And so every area is going pretty well. Our officers have responded very well to the various forms of technology we've added to patrol, and everything seems to be going pretty well in that area. We've lost a couple of officers due to, as you know, Tacoma was offering a $50,000 signing bonus, so had some take advantage of that. So right now, I will say that we are down 5 or 6 officers. However, last week I signed 3 conditional offers for new employees to come on board. We have one that will start maybe in the next 7 to 10 days. and the other two will be going to the academy. The other ones we think we'll fill before the end of the year. And so we will be back up to full strength on park. So up until.
Is there anything you attribute those lower numbers to? Like, was there an overall change that happened?
Well, there are several changes that we made. We added block cameras throughout throughout the city to let our officers know about stolen vehicles. And one of the major things is stolen vehicles affect every area of crime because everyone committing a crime is first looks at a way to get away. And they're not really not a bus to do that. Usually there it's either a stolen vehicle or trying to get one. So that has helped us tremendously. The second one is making sure that our number of officers stay up to full staff or close to full staff. So that we can fill every position and officers can move about. We've added additional technology to our police vehicles so that officers can be alerted as things happen in front of them or around them. And so we also adjusted officers' hours. So normally when you look at your patrol plan, you look at your calls for service, you want your calls for service to match the peaks and valleys of the number of officers that you have in any particular time during the day. And so we did some adjustments to our patrol plan so that our mid shift was matching the increase in calls for service. So we had and reduce our response time to calls and match calls for service person.
Do you have any usual retirements coming up for it? We're gonna replace people in the pipeline already.
We have one, potentially two. Could be three next year. We have, one definite like in March. We will have one probably about January and one later in the year. So we'll have to definitely hire to fill those positions. As for me, I'd like to do things ahead of time. We hire ahead of time when we know that in advance that people are retiring. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is
fully
staffed for Lakewood?
Fully staffed is 99 patrol officers. Or I would say patrol officers, 99 sworn.
So there's 99 patrol officers in Lakewood?
99, yes,
Okay.
not patrol officers.
What's the ratio between officer and population? How do they come up with that ratio between officers, 99 officers being?
So personally, I think that an adjustment needs to be made based upon the population of the city, but the city has not done an additional study of its population versus the number of officers since the inception of the city.
So they
So we've been,
whatever the place.
as the city has grown,
Yeah.
the department has not adjusted its plan as it relates to the number of officers for one calls for service and also by population. Yes, sir.
How many block safety cameras do you have?
46.
How much do you have in total? How much do you have in total of block?
46.
And they're all in use, right?
Yes.
You gotta spot them.
Are you doing any retail emphasis patrols with all this?
Absolutely. That's also one of the changes we did was, have a full-time business district car that works over, actually 2 vehicles that work over in the town center. Full-time as the town center's hours, they're there full-time to, reduce some of the incidences of crime and fear of crime. One of the things that I noticed when I got here was the amount of theft and other property crimes that were occurring just in one zone in the city. And that caused us to move personnel into one area, created business district car, so that they would address the issue there within the town center. in real time. Yes, sir.
The kind of hotel we have here, for month and a half, so for Axon.
Axon,
Axon,
Axon.
that was a really good, was very interesting and informative. Too bad there wasn't a lot big return out of that.
I'm not sure which part you're talking about, because we use Axon for a number of things. We have Axon body cameras, Axon owns tasers, Axon does our dash cameras, so that, you know, there are a number of products that come out of Axon.
Interesting, asking questions about how they use some of that. We went back to where their home offices and showed these things that was really interesting.
Anyone else thinking? All right, thank you so much.
Actually,
Okay. We'll look back to unfinished business, our contractor day report, what, Johnny, were you there?
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
hour and a half, maybe, yeah. Hour and a half.
yeah.
I saw Ivan there. We were done. He sat with me for a while.
Did many people come over to the booth or?
Yeah, but you know, I'd like to recommend something. Do we have like a budget? No? Okay. Forget my question then. No, it's okay. You know, now we have you look at got a copy of it. It says, the advisory committee, it's got a picture of the city and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly where it's at. I had a copy of it. I was wondering, because at that event, we didn't have any signage that said who we were. So if we could have someone create one of those, like a big one we could sit where we have an event that says what we are. Public Safety Advisory Committee, why we're there, kind of thing, kind of draw the. Because I was looking for it,
Great.
couldn't find it.
Philip Church was
our
our
guy.
Council approved it. Wait, here's the-
If they don't have an overview for it, at least put it on there.
The shirt,
Great.
you know, wrote it last time. Are we gonna still look into that? or-
Yeah, that's the next thing on the
You
list.
said council approved it, so.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
But about to see where.
okay. I guess if there's nothing else on Tractor Day, we'll just move down because that is coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, next thing is the joint meeting with the council. I mean, I think we kind of talked about that. The one thing Cam wanted me to kind of ask about, I guess the council suggested that we put together some kind of training on roundabout use.
Yeah.
You recall that? Does anybody know about that?
I remember that conversation. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember who actually brought it up.
I'm not sure if that was a suggestion or.
I think they want to change the name of our city to roundabout. too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can tell you, I was in UP when that disease struck. I was on PSAC there. And they went through all of this and I talked to the mayor. I said, you know, I said, trying to meet, should throw down the PSAC. We can make mistakes. You guys don't get blamed. We'll take it as a consult and it works and stars. Because I don't know how many of you know, but they put about 6 of those in. And then they got all these complaints. Fire trucks couldn't make the yard. School buses couldn't make the yard. They obstructed access to some underground utilities. And I said, see, I told you should, let us do it. When it bombs, just tell us where the casualties. But it's got some inherent things that are well known. They still build them. I don't know what planning.
I think someone was looking at it because I went around looking at the roundabouts. They all, every entrance and exit has a yield sign. Every entry point, right? So if people know how to drive, know what a yield sign means. We shouldn't have to put something together that no one's gonna look at. That's the problem.
If people are,
Well, and I will say,
You
for
said-
all the roundabouts in the city, when it comes to fire trucks and school buses, that was part of the design, make sure they could get through. So West Pierce bought into them and they can get their fire trucks around them. It's fine.
Yeah, when they merged the West Pierce merged, The Sharps had gone through that before, so they knew to get that out on the plate and lake real quick.
They're designed to work.
Right, so we don't have a set plan on that, that anybody knows about.
Not at all.
So maybe we'll follow up with that again next time when Cam's here, because you know more. Oh, Jane, you're Jane?
No, two over.
You're Jane, okay.
Big guy.
Over here, oh, your name was thrown out there, are you spearheading anything with that,
With this,
with the roundabout train?
I asked the question of the meeting.
Oh, so you are spearheading.
You probably did.
It's all open.
Yeah. I know I asked that question quite a while back, so if there's
Like that, that open up a lot.
whatever avenue we need to take, but it's just.
I mean, if we need to get something out on social media from our communications office on how to drive,
Yeah,
that
maybe a reminder would be right.
people have to actually.
Really, it's common.
Well,
Most part.
Real time.
It's courtesy for the most part, because people just, someone goes into one of those things and the person behind them thinks they have the right of way to go right in behind them, so they cut them off and. I don't know, maybe the driving manual is obsolete, but I think the person on the right has the right.
I don't know if there's many
Maybe that's
accidents
changed.
to roundabouts.
I think with the roundabouts went in, we may have had a slight uptick in accidents, but the severity of injuries and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's saved a lot of money.
Everybody's driving a lot slower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do, but.
No choice.
So I guess we. Take what there was a note to talk to the public, this is safety officer. I'll get on it. And there are two members of the council, too, who was going to be a part of that, so, of the youth council. They mentioned in the report here, that's, what was that, Alessa Rivera and, Vera Rubio. They said they want to be a part of that, dealing with the movie effort, so. If we just get to the police department and figure out what he's planning on doing, we figure out how we can help, so. I'll get on that in the next couple of weeks and we'll have something for the next meeting when we do that.
But like I said earlier, we've got a new communication manager that's just starting
Okay, so Brett,
today. So Britt's gone,
Britt's gone.
yeah, but her replacement, should be starting, I think, next week or so.
Yeah.
Get on her agenda early.
James,
Yeah,
James, do you need Sergeant Porsche's contact information or do you have it?
I don't have,
Okay, I will get that to you then.
thank you.
Okay. So, sounds like that's moving. Next is the apparel update. Justin, do we have a budget for the apparel?
Yeah, council approved budget, I believe last year,
Okay,
and it's just a matter of executing on it. That's all
And I sort of left it with, there has to be more interest than my willing to talk about it every 15 months.
I want.
To put everybody's energies to good use.
Yeah.
I paid for mine up front. I didn't want to get bogged down with the approval process. It was an interesting ride through the city offices to just get the logo. It was here in John Caulfield and our insurance, but yeah, it was no easy task. I hope that would stand as a basis of desired. I have to get to the embroiderer outfit who's gone in and out of business since COVID. And I don't want to bother, if they consider this at its best, it's my trend, it's a low volume.
Yeah, there's a place over, I think it's on 58th and Yakima, right on the corner. That does shirts and stuff, and it's a little local shop. Like for somebody to look at. There's also Northwest Embroidery, but
Think about that, custom embroidery. They were,
I think it's quality.
Yeah, quality.
Yeah.
so that's the one that has the files, the things that we do. You really would start if there's a commitment to them. So I can check that. I just don't want to drag them into it like I have 4 times in the last 6 years. So I'll check it and get a quote, feasibility first.
could we get a quote on just, like the little names, or just badges that would say, you know, or the magnetized that are hard.
He's soft.
He does
soft,
soft, soft,
How
okay.
about this for flesh? Why not have, just like a vest? That you can put on, that has the same thing on it, and those can just kind of float around to whoever's at those.
Sure. Yeah, reversible, you can go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we raised the salary at the church, it was more than just for public, food when you're out, guiding public or whatever, it was more so that when you go to neighborhood associations, some things that.
Recognition.
Recognition,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really good if they aren't worried about you. You know, a couple of places thought I was state sweeper or something.
Well, that's why maybe even just having to start with, because it's a little bit easier to chew off
Yeah.
the little official, saying our council or our committee on it. So we at least have something.
So I'll go just to the soft goods, I'll go find out first that this file that makes the embroider pattern. Just if it's needed, and if he doesn't have it, then we go doesn't have it. Then I'll tease the whole vest concept. They mostly are producing stuff for athletic teams and league club, but I'm sure they can imagine the best. I'll get the details.
Does the city already have somebody they use for when people go around? Maybe we could just piggyback on that, have them modify it to say USAC and call it good for now. Just did something. I don't,
Get a step.
okay, we'll check into more things on that.
Just let me know if you need.
Review of attendance requirements and expectations. Now, I think that was something Pam was gonna talk about a little bit more. I can only assume maybe what she,
Well, I was
Mean
bothered
background?
because I made my every 3-year request. Because Chris is sending out all these emergency balloons to see who's gonna be there. And again, I'm gonna look around the room, we got a senior officer from West Pierce Fire. We had chief of police, we often had more than just a council member from the council. And as a taxpayer, I think something more should be justifying taking this brain trust offline. Either volunteer hours or overtime or whatever. And an appreciation for the people that come. And it's been a struggle. We went through 8 years ago, we did a toss up when it's held, in what time and how often. It used to be monthly. And it used to be a little earlier on Wednesday. Some people who were participating felt the commute from a little bit of distance was odd. So 5:15 worked out. Then it went to every other month. I mean, there was a serious vote that almost took it to quarterly. And I said, I'll phone in. But I do think it's, as a taxpayer, I think it's unappreciative. It's not a waste. No, it's not a waste. I like seeing these folks. But senior people, fire department, senior personnel, police department, city council, sometimes, often city division or department leaders. And I just think we gotta figure this out. Put it on your calendar, use permanent ink, don't throw it away and commit. You can't help everybody. And I love seeing all these young people. But I know that every 2-3 years, I bring up the identification in public, the attendance. But, since Chris has taken over almost every meeting, she's had to try to sense who's gonna be there. Do these follow-up urgent things, and it's urgent because why waste people's time? But there is an intense adherence to rules in the city. All the things about ethics and all that, and you're not gonna have a real quorum, it'll come back to bite you. You take some official, and if you just talk offline together, you've actually offended one of the rules. That's my piece. I didn't have the answer except that here's the historic events. For those you don't know, this is like, I think this is my 4th tour, 3-year tour. I took a 3-year block off. So I've seen some of these come around.
yeah, I think Cam mentioned too, like at the last, or the only meeting I've been to other than this one, when Chris Davis was here and gave us all these, that, you know, maybe it'd be a good thing to just hope that we each could pick one, you know, pick one. Not, I don't know, but yeah. Thank you for your input. Next, media efforts. I think we just brought it up for the first time last meeting. I don't know where we're at on that.
You said the video media.
You're doing the media?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the one that, where we were just trying to figure out how to.
okay, that's the same.
The
with
issue
that.
out on the street, and suggestion by the chief was to. Get with Sergeant Porsche and work out some kind of program. He was on vacation one time before, so now Christine says she'll get the information, I'll get with them and we'll have a proposed schedule for the next time. Or a proposed event, and we figure out who can participate. Get all that together by the time we're next meeting, and I do more than what we just talk about. I won't be here, but I'll get it set up so it's done.
Just looking at critical site, so I can fix it.
Don't know, the young kids said they'd do anything, so we just need to see what Sergeant Forge has got. And figure out the different types of ads or whatever we want to use to go into them. And then let the committee decide what are the parameters as well.
Yeah, I'm just curious how we're thinking. You know, at a strategy level, are we thinking about these social media sites?
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about, getting into that, but we also gotta have a plan for what it is we want to say, we need that message. So we just need to talk to. Once everybody gets their heads together, we can talk about how we want.
If you guys could work on it. Public safety advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Limitless,
Make it
now that
fun.
we got them. Yeah, okay, and I think that will.
Bring it to the next meeting. Maybe great.
You can buy space. Nobody to buy them.
Yes. Okay, so now, Sharice, here's your moment. We're doing the Colonial Plaza update.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Right.
I don't even have that thing.
Yeah, so actually, I live right next door to it, and there's been a couple of meetings there, but nothing too bad. It's kind of died down, especially because of the weather, and the kids are not coming out as much, but I definitely see more of a police presence, just overall, even during the day. So no complaints. I know that, there's a neighbor, that I met at one of the city council meetings. She can hear it across the bridge, so sometimes she calls the non-emergency line. And she'll text me when she can hear it. But, you know, to be honest with you, I really feel like it's getting better. So I'm happy about the progress that, you know, the police department is doing. And, you know, I know it's on the city's priority list, so, and all of us have seen a huge difference. Even the, like, HOA route, have said that, it's getting much better, so. Yeah,
So make sure we stay on top of it.
I know, yes, keep the momentum going, so, yeah.
You know, if anyone is offered them a different place to do it,
Well,
whatever they do, like out behind the
yeah,
Lakewood Mall area or any, I don't
there's
know.
construction going on, so they used to go behind,
Yeah.
Woodward Barnes and Nobles, but there's construction.
We used to find another place.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of go to different spots, because my mom was in Parkland and they've been out in Parkland too. Where Cash and Carry is, I think it's called something else.
It's chef's.
Chef store, yeah, they go in that parking lot over there. But yeah, they kind of go around, but it's getting better, I don't have to say, I thought I would bring the,
This last week. What are they doing?
oh, what was that?
What are they doing?
Oh, yeah, so they're a car club. And what they do is they vandalize, they've been vandalizing, yeah. Burnout. They've even gone so far as to be on top of the roof of the Colonial. The pastor of the Pentecostal church said that they take copper wire out of the AC. So, yeah, it's been pretty bad over there, but,
Where's that
Colonial Center off of Motor Avenue. In Lakewood.
Kind of,
Yeah.
That's right.
There's that little church on.
Were they strong
Yeah,
enough lights
that-
across the?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Little church.
the, over there.
oh, yeah.
So
Right where the ACU area.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Okay.
right over there by the,
That's what the old, the plaza, they were
Yeah.
having kind of a, what they call parks and coffee, but it was, it then, a different element kind of took it over.
That's good, man.
it is, it's sweet.
Good. That's good, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, not in Lakeland.
Before you leave unfinished business, this goes along with our presentation time. I'm really glad to see that the security, I think, at the new facility is gonna be a lot of improvement. And, you know, we've had problems in the past with people moving out and that now our problem, which is still here, the safety end of this is still here in that a lot of those individuals that get released end up becoming cases for DSHS. And then they end up in these adult homes. That's what started the whole thing to start with. And we're still dealing with that. Ken was talked about that, the one close to his house and some of the problems that have gone on there. So these people are getting treated and they are considered to be better, I guess is the term. And then they become part of DSHS. DSHS places them here because there's facilities for them, et cetera. And the state was supposed to build all these little facilities that's supposed to help out that. I don't know, is that one completed here? The one they're building, a 14-bed mental. So for, it'll be over here by the Ford Garage someplace.
Yeah, across from the sounder station.
That is,
Yeah.
that's been completed and open, only
It
4
is,
years.
oh, yeah, it's wood. But, you know, those, even 14 beds is not gonna help the situation. It's 14 more beds, it's not. So I think that kind of in the unfinished business, we just have to remember that that is the safety issue dealing with Western State. Not their fault, but it's a DSHS fault. And we found out, you know, the city found that out fighting DSHS was a losing cause. But, we just gotta keep that in mind that we're probably gonna have to keep addressing this, and keep in mind.
We keep bringing it up with our state legislators, right?
Yeah.
About, not having equitable discharge from state facilities, right? And so instead of sending folks back to their places where they potentially committed crimes, making sure they're not releasing them.
Right.
Like,
I would say that some of this stuff we're going to back in the day.
yeah, we're still getting.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to new business. Youth council honorary lead, Pam had kind of said that maybe, or suggested that maybe the youth council would like to, you know, have somebody be your designated representative to speak, if some of you aren't super comfortable with doing that. Just a suggestion she put on here. Maybe you guys want to think about that.
I'm looking at it over from saying who's gonna win.
Yeah.
They got a game going on right now.
Twice as many of them here last time. Also, she wanted me to mention that Ken Whitco has resigned, if any of you didn't know that. So he's done. And on February 4th meeting, we're gonna have Sergeant John Fraser from the Marine Safety Unit. I think that's happening to address some of the concerns I brought up about Lake Stewart. So I'm glad to see that. Happy. Okay, last, we'll have the reports from board members and staff, neighborhood association meeting attendance, so. Was anybody able to go to any of the meetings?
Neighborhood association?
Yeah.
It's still kind of unorganized, I think. I guess, if I made more of an effort, we could do it.
I thought that, James, did you attend one in October? Association? Neighborhood Association?
Neighborhood Association.
So
We tried to do that,
Okay.
Okay, well, guess that means there's no updates.
I have I guess a question for those that have been here a long time. It's only my second meeting. So today, the presentation for the new Western Hospital, I thought was very interesting. You know, their concept and everything, but I do have some safety issues. And so the question would be is, do we as a advisory committee write a review or report of any issues, safety issues we have, and we can give to the city council?
we could.
Well, they gave us their.
If there's a safety issue, like you were saying, if there's an issue of people walking through your yard while they're there.
Yeah, she was the chief safety officer. She gave me her card, but I think if we have any issues, we can write them down and we can out there.
And submitting that coming to the page.
Well, it might be good timing if we could get something together quick, as we fresh in our mind, number one. And then we can give that to you guys, sure, and then you write them to, like you suggest, a teacher council.
Chris works and he's a part of the board. I mean, so he's part of the executive.
You're one of my bosses, so if y'all got any real concerns about that y'all really have, if I can't answer, you
He
get my boss.
works with those people. That's the
Yeah.
safety.
Sorry, you're cutting out. You're cutting out.
Sorry.
Yeah, he works at Western State, so he works with those.
Yeah,
He's a member of the, he said.
Okay. How often do we report to the, like, to actually go to the city council meeting?
Yearly.
Just yearly, so other than that, we just
Yeah,
tell
can
you
just-
about things?
Yeah.
Okay,
Inform meeting or the council or the city manager,
okay,
any of us.
okay. No, we're going to.
Yeah, or me, that's fine.
Most of them I had presented,
Yeah.
welcome questions, read ahead questions. And then
I'll
if
start.
their presentation finishes, then I think then you capture anything that didn't seem to be addressed. They really like it if you give them a little heads up interest because it gives them a chance to focus the elements of the presentation.
Well, so just as a to-do, I'll get, my issue on a piece of paper digitally, and I'll send it out to everybody. And if you guys can review it, members, feedback, word by feedback, I can create a consolidated list.
And in some instances, members of the city, some of the employees, different departments do come to make a presentation and you can address that issue with them specifically, and they might even have something in the works or a response or an
Yeah, I
action.
think that's a great idea to get do that, but I think ultimately we need to report to the city council. That's who we report to, right?
Yes.
That's why we exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so,
you have to do your research, you just can't
yeah, I get
throw
that.
it out there. It's gotta have some foundation too, so.
I
just get-
understand.
And then that would go back to you, to report to council.
Okay. Any other open discussion? Do we have anything else?
You know, the last 12 times I swore into this, you had to certify that through the city, you would take some training, most of them now on video, about when you can talk more than two people about a subject outside of a structured meeting and all that. So I don't know if it's still required, but I didn't know much of that first time I took it. So the state has parameters around which you can't hold an unofficial public meeting.
So thankfully Christie watched the YouTube videos on Robert's rules, so.
Yeah, I got it.
Anyway, you may want to refresh your memory, understanding of that before we start throwing things around.
Yeah,
But our city council rep here is a good funnel to get it up to the audience.
to your point, you can't have a quorum of people discussing without it being a public meeting or informed about. So if you have less than a quorum, generally you're up.
But they can do their work paper, as long as they're all in committees, emailed and included.
If you come up with something, you have to send it to her, she will disseminate it to the rest of us. you can't disseminate it to us.
Really? Why is that?
Because we can't do work outside of official need. But if you send it then, and then it's spread out as here's some things to look at,
That makes a lot of sense.
it makes it, well, it's so that
Okay.
things
Whatever.
then becomes public record that you have.
That would be good. I mean,
Well, the emails, but I don't know.
yeah, but I think communication is different and
I mean, we're trying to communicate. I
I don't think that's hard, is it? Is we communicate.
I think we gotta go more than a certain number of people that are causing issues. We went round and round with this one, we put these two and stuff, three, I thought.
Is it true?
I think it's any, how you have a forum, so it depends on how big your council is.
Chris, what's our quorum number?
Five.
Because you can't have a work session like we work on the calendar.
Like a subcommittee,
It's not a meeting.
you just can't have a forum.
We're sending emails back.
Yeah, because then they consider that essentially chaining together a forum by a council. But if you're like discussing the plan of meeting, it's fine.
I'm trying to get used to the government, I guess.
We meet every other month.
That's.
You can only meet, you can only work during this meeting, never get anything done.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up, I mean, I know we're supposed to go to these meetings and do some of these public outreach things, but I also kind of monitor some of the Facebook pages, like Lakewood Life and I kind of see what people are talking about. And I did notice, that a few people were bringing up coyotes down in John Dower, down in that area down there. I don't know if that's something that I should just let you know, or I don't know.
You're not talking about the cartel.
Not the cartel, no, not that one.
Flat Creek is a,
Real
is a known traffic area for deer, all kinds of wildlife, so.
Yeah.
Starts all the way up by Total Park Tech, and then the creek runs all the way down across the Bridgeport, and then turns north and goes down into the old wildlife sanctuary area that's over in the back of, Oakbrook. So all that area in there is really, there's a lot of wildlife in that area.
Yeah, so people were saying their dogs are getting eaten and things like that, so I don't know if that's something I should be bringing up or not, but. Yeah, cats disappearing.
The three of us all live in the same fence
in
line,
that area.
and new members, once in a while, will pop up on the Facebook page. We've been here 5 weeks and our cat hasn't been home for 4 days. Well, yeah,
Well,
I go out-
sure that-
sometimes I go out late and there's coyotes sitting at the end of the streets, just looking around. I get the impression they know they own the turf, so. But Flint Dairy used to be where Clover Park is in the cemetery on the fringes. And that whole water line, wetlands, and it comes down. Some of the residents in our places had cameras, you get to look at a lot of deer, coyotes, a lot of activity.
There's wildlife all throughout the city,
Yeah,
and they have been here longer than I have.
We keep moving in their areas.
If you have some that are being overly aggressive, then you can ignore it, but in general, don't let your cats run around it.
Or your
We had a
kids,
guy from the city,
if you like them.
they work on that water. Talking to him, and he was saying the next scary thing is neutral. Is that they're coming north.
Really?
It's the prime area. Neutral. They're
Yeah, rats.
kind of like a muskrat, they have trouble with them in the
Bigger.
field.
Bigger than rat.
Big.
They dig in the banks and they eat everything.
Yeah,
Just probably that boring, where we live, we've got these groups of raccoons digging up everybody's turf. I mean, they do better.
Red Road, that's it, roads.
You haven't seen it?
Across the
I just
street,
had my lawn be done.
like they took a road kipper.
They tore it up. That's tore it up.
So we got some videos of them, they fight the actions between 2 and 4 and 1 in the roads. They aren't discouraged very well, they've tried everything to allow music to get them to go, well, you can tell me. So there are, it's a lot of stuff.
Okay, so there's
Everybody has a little.
okay, does anybody have anything else? Okay, can we go
Is
vote?
there?
Can I get a second? All right, all in favor, say aye.
I.
Aye. All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you for your service.
No, that was.